Hello everyone, I'm the Hitchhiker, and this is the very first episode of the Hitchhiker's Guide to Photography. We are in beautiful downtown Dayton, Ohio, on 2nd Street, and we're heading to Storm Falcon Studios. Brand new location, just opening, and it's going to be the base of operations for the Hitchhiker's Guide to Photography, where we're going to teach you about all manner of photography. Our specialty at Storm Falcon Studios is headshots, but we're going to be doing a lot more, teaching you lighting, posing, tips and tricks, gear, and telling you everything you need to know to be a great photographer, whether it's just a hobby or if you're looking to do it professionally. Right behind me is Liberty Tower, and we're going to head upstairs now. Welcome to Storm Falcon Studios, and it's not a big studio, it's a small commercial space, but it belongs to me. This is my space, and this is my passion. So today I'm going to teach you a little bit about my methodology on taking headshots. Our primary concern at Storm Falcon, like I said, is doing headshots, the very best headshots that we can, for all of our clients to elevate their style and their brand. So we're going to talk about that in just a moment.
Welcome to Storm Falcon Studios, where the magic unfolds, where the secrets of photography are waiting to be told. HitchHiker is the guy who makes it all make sense, teaching you the tips and tricks to raise your confidence. We'll teach you about the lighting, make it shine. Posing composition will make it all align. From choosing the right gear to finding the best location, we'll help you pose people with attention. We keep it real at Storm Falcon. We make you feel like you belong. We'll help you climb that knowledge mountain. Now let's get started, 'cause this is the end of the song.
This is the kind of day it is outside. I don't know if you can even see through the window. Usually I have a pretty good view here, but this is, it's a little stormy. A little bit stormy, to say the least. Let's get started. Alright, let's take a look at the lighting setup that I use here. This is very much a Peter Hurley inspired lighting setup with the more or less triangle shape of the lights, and the reason that I use this triangular shape is because, just like Peter Hurley, I really like the look of the highlight and the eyes. It also lets you control the lighting very well because you have the light coming from 3 different spots. Now, slightly different than what Peter Hurley does. I am a headshot crew photographer, so I've studied his methods and I've kind of modified things to make them my own. This is a hair light or rim light that I really like to use to accent the hair and to give some good separation from the background. My preference is a black background in most cases, especially with lighter hair, so you get that good separation. I do have the seamless paper up here, so I can pull that down for a white background. Now, I'm shooting something that most photographers would tell you is no good as a professional camera. It's a Canon Rebel T6i. Now, this is a 24 megapixel camera, and it does amazing portraits. There's nothing wrong with it. If you're shooting a crop sensor, what they call a beginner or entry-level camera, if you've got something like this, 24 megapixels with a great lens on it, like this Tamron 60mm macro, you're not going to have any problem shooting portraits. I guarantee that nobody is going to know the difference in the final product. So let's go ahead and get started and talk a little bit about the lighting to begin with. Computer, activate headshot mode.
Okay.
Alright, so we have, like I said earlier, 3-point lighting, and it's probably hard to tell in the video exactly how good this really does look. Got it's a little bit hot coming from the bottom. There we go. So let's take a shot of this exact lighting setup and see what that looks like. Okay, so let's take a look at this portrait of Stephanie. Oh, this is my model, Stephanie, by the way. She really knows how to hold a pose. So it's very flat lighting. It's very even across the face. It gives you a great look for just non-dramatic flat lighting that will bring out the features and make a beautiful portrait. But we may want to adjust this a little bit so you get a little more drama, a little more interest in the photo. Now the idea is to create a photo with scroll stopping appeal. So we're going to work on that. Let's go back and take a look at the lighting again. So what we want to do with the lighting right now is take a look at our key and our hair lights. So the key is always on the model's right. So we're going to make sure that it's at about 60% right now. Then we're going to take the fill light, which is on the left. We're going to take that down to about 30%. So if you can see on... yeah, if you can see on there, we've got a little bit of shadow on the side. Now let's come back and take a look at our hair light. It's feathered way off to the side, so we're going to actually bring it in a little bit closer. The hair light is always on, at least in my setup. The hair light is always on the side exactly 180 degrees from the key light. So we've got the key light here, and you can see the hair light in the background creating that glow along the edge of the hair. So let's take another shot and see what that looks like. So in this image you can see that along the model's left cheek there's a lot more shadow, and we've got a little brighter highlight on the hair also on the left side. From changing the intensity of the light, you can see that the background has gone blacker. It's gone to a pretty well completely black instead of the very dark gray that it was before. So what we have is really good separation from the background with the hair light and a background that is a solid color. And the beautiful thing about having that completely black background is it doesn't distract from the person's picture at all, from their image. And it also allows you to be very consistent. If you're doing a series of headshots of one person or several people, it lets your background remain consistent throughout all the shots. So let's review real quick the settings that we used. So we had our key light on the model's right in the strip box, which is set at 60%. The fill light to the model's left is set at 30%. So you have half the light approximately coming from the fill side, so you get that shadow along the left side of the face. Underneath, the light there is set to its minimum, which is 10%, because we just wanted to lift the shadows underneath the chin a little bit. And the hair light is set to about 20%. It's a very bright light through diffusion and pointed in line with the key light. to light the model's hair from behind. Camera settings. Not that that really matters that much because yours will be different depending on the lighting you're using. But my particular settings for this are f4. The reason I pick f4 is because I like the depth of field that it gives. It lets you have the nose, mouth, and eyes in sharp focus, and by the time you reach about the ear, the focus begins to fall off, so you get that good depth in your image by using f4. I'm also using a shutter speed of 1/125th of a second. That allows me to freeze any motion in the model, and if you get below that, you can get a little bit of motion blur from the model moving around, or if you're hand holding your camera especially, you can get motion blur that way. So I like to shoot at 1/125th of a second or higher. I'm shooting at ISO 200 on a 60mm f2 Tamron macro lens with a Canon T6i camera, and that's basically it. It's a very simple setup. It looks kind of elaborate to begin with, but you have great control over your subject. Now let's take a look at the final image after I've done my editing. You can see here that I have added some contrast to the image and deepened the shadows just a little bit more on the shadow side of the face, and it is cropped to a 1:1 ratio, a square ratio, primarily for social media, and the vibrance has been enhanced just a little bit. We will talk about all these settings and how to use Photoshop in a future episode, but for right now, this is the final image, and this is where we're going to leave things for today. Alright, first episode's in the bag. I know it was a little bit rough. I'm brand new to this, and I hope I get better as we go along, but I also hope that you learned a little something today and a little bit about my method. Next week, we're going to talk about how to get your model to do what you want, to smile, to get the expression that you want on their face, and hopefully we'll have somebody with a little bit more expression to them than Stephanie. While she holds the pose really well, she's not really good at the smiling. So, until the next time we get together, I want you to get out there and keep practicing, keep taking pictures, because that's what it's all about. Have fun with it, enjoy yourself, and I will see you next time on the Hitchhiker's Guide to Photography. Until then, stay trippy, everybody.